Amateurs chase the sun and get burned. Power lives in the shadows. This is a quote from Oppenheimer that I really love, and it reminds me a lot of Machiavellian ideology. Machiavelli is somebody that I've read and studied a lot, and I find fascinating. It's sort of this hard truth about life. You know, there's in our society there's this illusion of visibility as success. We equate fame, attention, validation as success. Not even just on the grand. I'm not even just talking celebrities in Hollywood. I'm also talking even things like in your high school, in your friend groups, right? It seems that the person that has the most overall attention, for whatever reason, we equate that with success. And you have to understand this idea of, you know, like chasing the sun is an ego driven thing. It's your ego that wants the applause from others. You need this sort of external proof of worth, which is actually a sign of insecurity rather than something like strategy, right? Strategy would be playing the fool. Play a fool to catch a fool. That's what you need to understand. You never ever want to show your true intentions or what you're capable of to other people. You know, Robert Greene talks about that in the Laws of Power, but really he copied that from Machiavelli. You need to understand that every time that you're showing the world who you are and what you're capable of, you're going to be seen as a threat. And I know a lot of people might listen to this video and be like, well, that's like, we're not in the medieval times, you know, like people, but it's very true even for social spheres. It's very true in the workplace, right? You always want to appear dumber than you actually are. You never want to let someone know your true intentions. You want to be behind the scenes making the moves and nobody fully knowing. Because the truth is that exposure invites control. The more visible you are, you become more predictable. You become more monitored, and people are going to try to actively manipulate you, right? Attention places you under influence. And that's just not needed. Why would you want that, right? You have to basically overpower your own ego, your own desire to be seen, and focus solely on the task at hand, which is positioning yourself in the best place possible, right? If you want to work your way up at whatever workplace you're at, never let anybody know the things that you're doing in order to get there. It's just never going to help. And I know people are going to be like, it's not that deep, but trust me, even me having had worked many jobs that were like not corporate, but they were like retail or whatever it is, and I was trying to work my way up when I was younger to get paid more, I realized that whenever you would tell people any information, it would just go and somehow find its way back to the boss or whatever, and it would have nothing to do with them, and so it would just overall sort of hurt my image. And it's like, if people will do it at the smallest scale like that, I'm telling you for a fact they will do it on a greater scale. Even when it's not something like your profession on the line, even when it's something just like social currency, right? People love to expose you because it gives them a sense of self-worth. True power always operates quietly. Remember this. Always, always, always. The people that are really pulling the strings in the world, the ones that are the elites, you know, the group of people that's controlling us, we don't even know their names. Only ignorant people sit there and say, oh my God, Trump, oh, he's so bad. Biden, oh, he's so bad. You know, whatever president is up there, or what, you know, whatever politician, or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, right? This is low IQ activity to believe that those are the ones that are really pulling the strings. They're not, guys. There are bigger authority figures behind them, right? They're like the puppets. They're the instruments that are being used. I'm not saying they don't have power. They do, but they're not the big dogs. The big dogs never show themselves. When you reveal yourself, you are putting yourself in harm's way. You're exposing yourself. Real power always, always, always operates in silence. Another thing you have to think about is burnout, right? Because if you are constantly seeking attention, it becomes a performance. You need to perform. You need to hit certain KPIs in whatever it is that you're doing. And it gets exhausting, man. And I'm saying this as, so I started social media on October 9th. So 2.5 months I've been doing it. And I've gained a little bit of a following, nothing crazy, but a little bit of a following. And now that I have, you know, even just a few eyes on me, it's like everything becomes a performance. Now I need to actually make good videos consistently. And it's not as fun as it was when I was first starting out and didn't have as many eyes on me, because it's like there needs to be a performance and you're trying to keep everybody happy. And, you know, I try my best to make it my own thing, but I'd be lying if I said, you know, that I wasn't to some extent trying to appease my audience. And the same thing is going to be true even on a smaller scale. You're always going to have the thoughts of others in the back of your mind, and it's like, oh, I need to perform now, and so that's going to lead to burnout. You should be utilizing shadows as strategic restraint. This is very intentional. Machiavelli tells us this. Robert Greene tells us this. You never want to expose your true intentions, and so the shadows will be your greatest ally. Right? When you stay unseen, it allows freedom of movement, adaptability, control over timing. You control everything, and there's really no eyeballs on you. Silence becomes a form of distance when people don't know what you're doing. Right? Modern culture rewards exposure, not mastery. And so with this, anybody who's putting themselves out there at all, they don't need to master their craft. They're going to get seen, and that's a problem, because then they're not qualified, and then it's going to be a lack of power thereof because they're not qualified. And so you're literally just exposing yourself. I understand I'm getting monotonous in this video, but you need to understand that the algorithms online, they push visibility. They're not pushing wisdom. And so maybe that's why you're seeing this video, is because I'm an idiot. But yeah, you're essentially creating a world full of performers and very few legitimate connoisseurs, very few actual decision makers that are, you know, moving the chains, if you will. So you need to understand the difference between power and popularity. Popularity depends on approval, and power depends on independence. No one can tell you what to do. That's real power. You really want to tell someone fuck you? Be in a position where they can't do anything to you. That's all it is. And the shadows is where that is. If someone doesn't know you, then how can they attack you? It's literally that simple, guys. I'll leave you with this. Withdrawing from constant display is not weakness. You are not weak because you are not showing yourself. People are trying to say, oh, you're afraid of other people's opinions. No. It's just reclaiming your own agency. It's taking over your own direction and intent in life. Remember this. Those who chase the sun get burned. Power stays in the shadows. There's a reason we don't know who's really pulling the strings in the world. Thank you guys for watching.